Hi guys, my name is Saprina, and today I'm really excited to be talking to you about connection. But not just any kind of connection, it's really about quality connections. Relationships. How do we have them? How do we make them meaningful? How can we reach out to people in a way that doesn't feel like we're just trying to be opportunistic? How do we even start? And I think the way that we can do that is actually by just not being so rigid and not trying to control everything, and especially not only reaching out to people when we need them or we think we might need them for something. And this is something that really inspired me when I was watching this great talk by Alain de Botton, who's this amazing Swiss English philosopher. And I'll actually put the link below so that you can watch it. And one thing he talks about is how important serendipity used to be. There was more to life than just humans. We were guided by fortune, we were guided by luck. Things happened outside of our control. So there's one area that really taught me a lot about this, and that was improv.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way. Like an improv conversation. An improvisation.
It was 2017 and I was working at a nonprofit, and I was feeling really isolated and lonely because I was in a very small team and everybody had their own stuff going on. There wasn't really a culture of collaborating or communicating across the organization. So I joined this improv group in Oakland, and at that time it was just for fun. I thought I'll just meet some people, do a few fun exercises. But very quickly I became really into it. I became part of the troupe. I started performing every Friday, and I had this amazing teacher. Her name was Jessie, and Jessie just had this incredible energy. She was so funny, she was so real, she was so raw. And most importantly, she created this environment which was so safe that you just felt like no matter what, you'd be taken care of. That's actually the whole point of connection. We want to feel cared for and we want to care about other people. And unless there is caring at the center of what we do, there will not be connection. That's the one thing that really pulled me into this group, made me part of this troupe, made me feel connected to all these people. And I cannot tell you about what all other players were doing in their daily lives because I didn't necessarily know. We were not connecting on that level, on the level of just sharing factual information about each other. It was all about just being in the moment together. Like, remember when you were a kid and you were just playing pretend with other kids? The only thing that really mattered was that they were there and you were there, and that you were both willing to create this world together and you were both invested in it, right? That's all that mattered. And as long as that person kept responding to you and you kept responding to them, you could just live in this little world for hours and hours. And that's exactly what improv is like, except obviously we're all adults, and it's just such a fresher breath of air from the regular lives that we have to lead on a day-to-day basis where everything is controlled. So if you've never done improv, the most basic of premises that you need to think about is make your partner look good. And that is actually quite a revolutionary thing, because in our daily lives, we're always focused on ourselves, on how to make ourselves look good, how to make ourselves look the best we can. I mean, I put on makeup for this video, I put on a nose ring. But in improv, the whole point is not to control your image, it's actually to help the other person look the best they can be. And this principle is actually captured in the term yes and. Whatever your partner says when you enter into a scene, you have to say yes to, and you have to add on to it to make it even more believable, stronger, more credible. And that is such an amazing experience, because for the first time, you're not focused on yourself, you're really focusing on them, and you're focusing on making their version of reality or their story come alive. And so you're a collaborator in this storytelling process. And it can be really hard at the same time because we're so used to always thinking about ourselves, right? And I remember that actually on my troupe, there was one person who constantly entered every scene between two other people just because they had a need to be seen. Like he was this guy who always wanted to be the star, and he always wanted to get laughs, and he could do anything to get a laugh. And at one point it got so bad, his need for validation was so bad, he actually went on stage and slapped a woman's butt just to get a laugh. And it was one of the most humiliating moments for us all as a troupe, because we heard the sound. It was a very, very loud sound. It echoed across the room. The audience was shocked and uncomfortable. The woman was shocked and uncomfortable. All of us were shocked and uncomfortable except for this person, because he felt like he was able to get the attention. That violated our sense of space, our sense of security, and it actually caused a lot of tension in the troupe. And it was really a violation of that main rule of yes and of caring. But one really great lesson that I got out of that was, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be the kind of person that always needs the limelight? Or am I somebody who's going to be okay giving it to somebody else and actually pushing and giving for no other reason other than caring for this person? It's almost like you're a photographer you're somebody behind the scenes and you really want to make this one person look amazing. How can you do that? How can you put everything into making them look good just because you want to and because you care? So unlike regular theater where you've been practicing, you've got your lines, you've got something solid to rely on, you've got a sense of control, in improv, it's the opposite. You're meant to go on stage before you even know what you're going to say, before you even know what your partner is going to say. You don't even know what kind of scene is going to be created in the spot. But you have to trust your partner. You have to trust that you're both going to be able to somehow make it. And this is so counterintuitive for us because based on psychology and neuroscience, all of us have what's called a theory of control. It's a way we imagine we need to be in order to have control in the world. And that means not surrendering. That means controlling variables. That means controlling our image. That means controlling as much as we can. Here, it's the opposite. We actually have to surrender and we have to be open to one thing that we're so scared of, which is humiliation and looking stupid. In fact, for the brains that we have, which are tribal brains, humiliation is the worst form of torture we can imagine. Because humiliation at that time used to always be a very public affair. And we still carry that need for comeuppance when somebody does something wrong. We want to see them publicly shamed. But the beauty of improv is that when you are in a scene, provided both of you are looking out for each other, neither is going to fall. You are never alone and you cannot be humiliated because the other person is looking out for you and making sure that you look good. All of this to say that idea of surrendering in improv is a really good exercise to implement in other aspects of your life as well, especially when you're trying to build a relationship. Because people will trust you when you surrender to them. You are showing yourself to be not like everybody else who's staying behind their theory of control, locking themselves into this fake self, which is obvious, but which we all kind of accept because we are doing the same thing. This person is actually surrendering to you and it's so refreshing, and it actually calls you to take care of them too. Maybe there's somebody new that you want to meet, somebody that's intriguing, inspiring, that you admire, and you just would like to have a conversation with them. Well, then reach out to them. Send them a message. Do something that you would not normally do that falls outside of your comfort zone and just see what happens. What improv is really fantastic for is also listening skills. Because unless you're listening to what your partner is saying and they're listening to you, you will be going in totally different realities. You'll be having different scenes. You'll be different characters. You will have no way of coming together. I remember one time I was playing with Jesse. It was just her and me in a scene. I was new and I just said the first thing that came out of my mind. I just said, "Oh, your brother has died. He committed suicide." I don't know why I went there, but that's where my mind went. And Jessie her face just broke down. She practically started screaming and having this crazy moment on stage. And I was so shocked by her reaction, but I was so pulled into it too. And it was one of those moments that was so intense and real and raw, and it made me realize for the first time that, wow, she really is listening to what I'm saying. You know, anything I'm saying has an impact. And perhaps in my life until that moment, I hadn't felt like that had happened to me before. Okay, my nose ring fell off. Anyway, I have limited battery, so I'm going to keep going. But the point is that I never felt so heard in my life before. I never felt so seen, even though I was acting as a character. And it was such an amazingly therapeutic moment, a bit of a traumatic moment too, but it really taught me the importance of listening. When you really listen to somebody with your whole heart and soul, especially when they're not expecting it, it is extremely powerful. So maybe try that next time. I know it's difficult with everything being virtual, but if ever you have the chance of something in real life happening, really focus on listening. Put away your phone, put away the distractions. Try to focus on this person, on their face, on their mouth, on what they're saying, on their voice, and see how that feels. And especially ask them maybe later how they felt. And chances are that they felt extremely good, and they will want to be connected to you too, because they will sense from the beginning that you actually care. What improv does actually is that it kind of taps into that ancestral wisdom of letting things happen, of trusting that things will just work out somehow, even though you don't have control, being in the moment and trusting things. Let us incorporate serendipity into our dreams and our goals. Let it be something that moves us and that we're not completely in control of, because at the end of the day, that is reality. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful to you if you are looking to build relationships, whether it's for professional or personal reasons. Let me know what you think. If you like this content, definitely give me a like because it really helps me a lot. And subscribe to my channel because I'll be dropping new videos regularly, hopefully every week. So you get access to great storytelling tips and tricks and just also get to listen to some of my crazy stories. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely day and take care.